Let me give you today a little known secret, a little known system to come up with thousands and thousands of catchy titles for articles. Okay, now this is a proven system. Is I just use it countless of times, and this is what I actually use. I've been using for pretty much my whole life. I guess my whole business life, and. I think it's not even in my business life because the system comes from experience, and there's a whole system like it's 3 step system. Let me get you through it. But first, I just want to remind you that I like to relate to songwriting when thinking about article headlines. This is basically what I do. Okay, I relate it to songwriting. Now, Friends in Low Places, I think, is arguably the most popular country song of all time. And a lot of people agree with me. Now, when the co writer Earl Bud Lee was asked how long it took him and his co writer to craft the song, he said about 38 years and 20 minutes. 38 years and 20 minutes. That's quite a long time, but you don't need that much of time because I'm gonna share my system and a few headlines with you. So, but basically, what he meant is that he spent a lifetime not only writing songs, but coming up with countless song titles. Now, the short answer to how to write, catchy headlines and whatnot is I mean, if you desire a list of catchy titles for articles sure as death to work, you can steal my personal list that is in the description. However, that is going to limit your genius. It reminds me of kind of, riding a bicycle with stabilizers. Doing so won't help you come up with some groundbreaking headlines. You get the result, but to get to the point you wish, that is, writing without stabilizers, you gotta write a lot of headlines for a long time. You gotta trip, and you gotta get yourself back up, and you gotta do it on your own. And you need to follow this system. But picture this first, all right? Picture this first. Dean Dillon is another successful songwriter. You should know it. I know very well. And he said that he has to write about 600 songs for 6 of them to get cut. And those 6, maybe 1 or 2 becomes a single, and one of those may become a hit. Another example, Dolly Parton has said that something, has said something similar. That she has to write 5,000 songs, about 5,000 songs, resulting in about 5 good ones. Many will argue that she's written more good ones than that, but the point is clear. Another example is Glenn Frey of the Eagles. Said that when he first moved to LA, he didn't know how to write songs. He lived in a little house in the floor above fellow artist Jackson Brown for several weeks. And Frey would hear Brown wake up in the morning, brew tea, then work on songs at the piano every day, the same routine. So he finally clicked to him. There is no shortcut. You need to wake up every day and do it. So now these writers and the ones that come up with the best headlines for articles know that it's all about quantity. It's a little word, okay? It's a little word. It's a beautiful word. I love the word. I know this word very well, and it is quantity. Quantity and consistency, and it's a short word that says persistence. Persistency. You need to be persistent. Okay. Can you show up every day and create something? Quantity leads to quality. Quantity leads to quality. Quality comes from quantity. In the instance of your question, quantity leads to catchy headlines. Catchy headlines come from quantity, from writing a lot of headlines. The more you write, the better you become. But I'm gonna show you the system, so pay attention. The more feedback you get on what people find catchy, and you keep building and building on those experiences, the more you're gonna write good headlines. So the short answer to write, catchy headlines for articles is simply write a lot of headlines for a long time. Moreover, pay close attention, okay? Moreover, one, does it provoke curiosity? The New York Post is infamous for headlines that grab you by the throat and force you to keep reading. Headless body in topless bar, an example, right? It's catchy, it gets you by the throat. It's a huge number two. Is it a huge benefit listed right there in the headline? Get a six pack in 6 weeks. Boom. That's a huge benefit listed right there in the headline. Is it timely? This can refer. This is will be number three. Is it timely? This can refer both to what's going on in the news or pop culture as well as what's going on in the prospect's life. Most people don't think about hiring a wedding planner until one day they are engaged, and whoops, better start planning the event. Number four, is it clear? Clarity trumps cleverness. If I can't figure out what the hell you're saying, you just lost me as a prospect. So use the exact words I used to describe the problem. So the prospect is there with you. Number five, is it concise? Is it short? Does it say what it has to say? The example that I said before, get a six pack in 6 weeks. So I'm not against the long headlines. I love them, okay? And I'm gonna show you, after a few examples. But every word has to earn its way onto the page. So if you have a headline of words that don't deserve to be on the page, you should remove them. Don't ramble on for the sake of writing something. That's just stupid, all right? Um, these basically will be the system, but that's way more coming up right now. If you want to, by the way, you basically, if you want to write if you want to read an excellent book on headlines, buy a notebook, write 5 headlines every morning for 90 days and read it back. All right, I just gave you a cheap book to to read. Just buy a notebook, write 5 headlines a day for 90 days and then read it back. All right, imagine just this book will take 90 days to come to your house, and Amazon is basically is going crazy, and the book is late, so it's gonna come up for 90 days. And you just imagine this picture, you just play pretend, and when in reality you write, you basically you wanna buy a notebook, you wanna write 5 headlines, all right, five, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for 90 days, and then you read it back every day, fellas, every day. Miraculously, you'll pay attention to headlines that are all over the places. As you start looking around and you see headlines everywhere. You think about them and you naturally build a inner sense of what's best for you and for your prospects. All right. Now to a little bit of secrets of mine. I just wanted to get personal and share it with you. So, I wrote a book, right, that's called One Flew Over Wall Street. Now, explaining the madness that is security investing. I'm not reinventing the wheel, right? I mean, Paul Getty wrote it back in 1949. Whenever the book came out, How to Be Rich, and there are thousands and thousands of people that know the madness that is security investing and the difference between speculating and actually investing. However, I can guarantee you that is the title that made me, write the book. Like the title, yeah, for sure. Experience and a deep passion for it, the deep love, the unconditional love for it. The fact that, I was reading about it and I was kind of pretending of doing it way before I had the money to do it, way before I built the capital of doing it. I was thinking of everyone was but were curious about it, but I didn't have the means to do it, and I was doing it regardless. Even though I wasn't expecting any money out of it. I wasn't expecting to win the money. I wasn't expecting to get the monetary rewards as soon as I was doing it. I was imagining doing it without the money. I was imagining, doing it. I don't care about the money. This turns me on. So that for sure made me, understand it, and do researches and see whatever was bad about it. But the point is that the title made me wrote it because one flew over, the cuckoo's nest. The whole idea was the madness. That was, the movie. So you know the story of the one flew over the cuckoo's nest. So to me, one flew over Wall Street. It kind of had that deep, it was the emotion that I was trying to convey with the story. So, uh, but that's a process. That's process to it. So let's break this down. Number one, the unexpected headline. In other words, you write a text message to your wife, or to your I don't know, to your friends, or somebody that you have a close, very close. You guys know each other, right? And I personally, this is an example. This is something that happened to me, and I wrote, "You're the last person I was expecting happy birthday from." Now, this was my message. Now, in it, you hear mystery, but that's from the outside. I know what's going on. I know who I'm talking to. I know why, that person was the last person I was expecting happy birthday. But from the outside, it really sparkled curiosity. What is going on? Why? This is just natural questions. You can use that phrase, that sentence as a headline if after that you use a sub headline, talking about the niche, talking about the subject topic of it. And, I'm going to show you an example what I'm talking about in just 1 second. But let me keep going with the second instance of my system. Once again, if system can be called, um, you're the last person I was expecting to read this. They be the title of the book, or that be the right, the title of the article, and then in parentheses, the best real estate deal I've ever made. You're the last person I was expecting to read this. Parentheses, the best real estate deal I've ever made, or parentheses, the stock that earned me a bundle. But you see, you the last person I was expecting to read this. It's something that kind of works in every way, because if you're writing, if you're writing the best, real estate deal you've ever made, and you write it on paper, you won't expect, you don't expect some weird person somewhere in the world doing somewhat, doing who knows what, the day before watched whatever he watched or whatever she watched. So it's kind of like that, I don't know if it ever happened to you. You write a book, and when I write a book, when I read a book, I think of myself. So I thought to myself once, who knows if the person that actually wrote this was expecting a guy, that is doing whatever I was doing at the time, to read this, So it's a great headline, but where it came from experience, it came from life. In fact, if you see the EMV score of the headline, "You're the last person I was expecting to read this," or "You're the last person I was expecting to wish me happy birthday," it has like 50 percentage of EMV. I put a link in the description of EMV website. So it's a really cool website. You put your headline in it, and you'll discover the percentage of the emotional level of the headline. Now, the second part of the system, I guess, and there are three parts to this system, is the classic headline. The classic headline is like, diet starts on Monday, and then you turn it into diet starts now. It be the headline of the article. Now, what's happening and why I call it the classic headline? It's a classic. It's a classic. Everybody wants to start, diet on Monday. It's ever happened to you? Now, where I'm from, it doesn't matter where you from. We all have it. Nah, it's all right. I'm gonna start diet on Monday, right? It's a classic one. So what do you do though? You take a classic sentence that belongs to everybody's daily life, or everybody's life in general, and then you need to use that genius I was talking before. Instead of saying on Monday, you say now. Or you may say, just a freestyle over here, diet starts at 3 o'clock tomorrow, because that's a full moon, right? So you start with a classic thought that we all had once in our lifetime, and then you use your creative genius to make it yours, which is going to inspire you to write the actual article, which is the most important part of it. I heard the ones that just by I think I read I read it when I was 10 years old, the first million, and the book about headlines and everything. It's a classic book. And I read it. You can just increase 70% of your sales just by changing the title, just by changing the title. That's the point. Yeah, the point is not making the buck. The point is not making money. The point is providing the information which is going to last forever, right? That's the whole point of it. um so it doesn't matter if the title. Yeah, it's good to have a good title, but it's the body, it's the content that really matters. So yeah, that's just to say that, of course, it's good to have a good title, but don't forget that that title has to inspire you to write it, has to inspire the prospect to read it. All right. And then the last part of the system is the ripoff headline. Now the ripoff headline is once again the example that I gave you before. One flew over the cuckoo's nest. It turns to me into one flew over Wall Street. Okay. In the ripoff headline, the whole point of it is to use uh, is to use like catchy phrases, or frozen phrases we have in English, or in your language, and to use that. Like one flew over the cuckoo's nest was a catchy one, was a title of a movie, and you change it. Or you can use, for instance, a gentleman prefers blonde, and you can say fat people prefers I don't know, whatever, right? You use your genius. Or slim people prefers boom. So it's a rip off. You rip that off. You make it yours to convey your message, or the article's message. Better yet, another great example. The last president of the United States we have. I mean, the headline. It's a good headline. It's a great headline. Make America Great Again, and but it's a ripoff. It was a ripoff of Let's Make America Great Again, and but just removing by Let's, it was a good idea, because once again you ripped that off, but you made it your own still. And if you remember what I said in the beginning, I say fulfill. I use the word fulfill. Now, the word fulfill, it's a word that means you're not changing the law, you just fulfilling it. Okay, so this is my way. This is the system, and it's a great one. It's a good one. It always works. This is an art, although it's a science as well. So I provide a downloadable. It's not downloadable. It's going to be an Excel file which I'm going to update constantly, daily, with new headlines, with new stuff. And thank you so much for watching. Grab yours. Hope you took notes so you can come back to whatever part of today's class, and you will have a lot of fun writing articles, because you're gonna have your title over there in place, which is going to inspire you to write that article better, convey your message better, and that's for your part. But from the prospect view, your prospect is going to more it's going to more inspire to read it, all right, just by the title. Thank you.